Right.
So this idea that you get from these movies perpetuate a stereotype that was not true when I was a child. I
Yep.
lived it. I lived it. I did not see white people sitting around hating black people.
Yep. And even myself, even the last 20 years, about 20 years ago, you remember a couple that myself and my wife hung out with.
I
A black
remember.
couple that we were really good friends with them. And again, it was like, th- you know, the people from the North make such a big deal.
About it.
Not everyone from the North, but certain people from the North, they make a big deal out of something that's not really a big deal. Like, it's
I'm
like,
the I'm the only white person in my whole neighborhood. And I
you
and
know,
I
you
li-
know,
and my family that I live with, Tim, he's like my son, and his son, they're Puerto Rican.
right,
But I feel perfectly safe. I mean, I wouldn't have friends if I didn't have black
right,
friends here. But I don't consider it some big deal. I don't
right,
go. It's just, well, who am I going to talk to?
right.
you know, and so and it's just a normal thing. But this stereotype of the South is it just it turns me off.
Yep,
Really turns me off.
yeah,
Uh, and I've seen uh, a lot of these northern do-gooders. I'll never forget when I was younger and I saw what was happening with how the black families were being totally uprooted. In the South, there were regions where they had flourishing little shops and their own churches, their own theaters, and everything. And it was as if all of a sudden all of this money came in and it uprooted the family. The black families that when I was growing up were more cohesive than white families.
right,
And
yep,
look what's happened.
yep,
I mean, it's been said in the name of helping people, we have made their lives worse, and we keep saying we're going to make their life better. I was trying to tell them you should work in the communities where they live, and I was labeled a racist.
yep.
Why would you go in and tear
Why
down
would
their
you?
infrastructure and build a bunch of what I looked to me like ghetto apartments
Yep,
for everybody to move into? I was thinking, why would you do that? Oh, but I
yep,
was the racist. Well, I saw what was happening to the black community that lived with around us.
yep.
It was sad, but if you have a southern accent, oh my goodness, you must be a racist. Well,
Yep.
you know what? I'm not going to change my accent. And I speak several languages, and I don't speak them with a southern accent, but I speak them. But English, it's special, and it would seem unnatural. But yeah, a minute you open your mouth, I'll never forget. Once I was in New York, I was coming back from France. I had attended university there. I had a trunk, and I was trying to get him to ship it to the right place because it was going to a place in Louisiana and it had a Frenchy spelling name. And you know what he told me? I was trying to tell him how to spell it. He said, "Well, people in Louisiana don't know how to read." And
Yep,
you know what I said? I said,
yep,
evidently, people in New York don't know how to write or spell.
yep,
And I said, I told him, you give me that ticket. I said, it's not going. I said, it'll never get to the town it's supposed to go to with the way you're writing it.
yep.
But
Yeah,
he
it's
actually had the nerve to say that.
yep. It's almost like they have a certain view of again. It's easy to be, oh, I'm not racist. I'm anti-racist. I'm whatever. It's easy to claim that as
Hmm.
well. I don't look down my nose. You're afraid of a black person. It's like no. It's like okay, my thing is like there's this whole narrative that
Mm-hmm.
if you like myself were victims of crime,
Mm-hmm.
like like your house was broken into by a black person, you were carjacked by a black person, you were beat up by a black person, whatever the case is. Now, if you are in a parking lot late at night and you see a couple of young black guys with their pants bagging down, as and you look at them as like what they're doing, you're automatically racist. And the fact is, you're not racist. You're just that is a conditioned response. It
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't matter if they're purple or green or what. If there is a conditioned response to something that's happened over and over to you, and it's not you're not racist. You know, like myself, if I know so many just really great black people, and I have been blessed with numerous black friends, and 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 you know, and just you know, having different people around me and different you know, different races, different sexual orientations, different and for the most part,
Even hermaphrodites.
even hermaphrodites. And the fact of the matter is, I have never really had too much of a problem. You know, I
I
mean, you know, I've had crimes committed to me, but those
I
crimes
know.
committed upon me, honestly, were black, and they committed those crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't make me racist if I stop and I look at a car pulling up next to me and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I at a gas station or something and I pay attention to their car. It doesn't make me racist. It me and it's easy
Was,
coming from it's easy if you come from a place where there's a 2% black population where you
mm-hmm.
never experienced anything and then say, well, you ought to be like me. I don't look at a car pulling up with young black men in it as a threat or as a possible threat. I don't look at it
Mm-hmm.
that way. It's like, when was the last time you even talked to a black person? It's like,
I
you
know.
know, it's
Well, see,
it's
I
like,
wish people would see. I wish people would be honest. I think most people in the world prefer being around people that are like them.
right,
We have. You see, the minute I've noticed something, we love changing definitions.
yep,
You know, I feel like we have extended the definition of racism to where almost everybody can fit into it. I feel like to me, I always thought racism is where you thought a group was superior to another group. In that
yep,
sense, I've never been racist. I've never
right,
thought that white people were superior to black people. I've always felt that we're good and bad in every race.
right,
Okay. Uh, but now you can be labeled racist for anything.
yep,
And so how are we even going to deal with racism if every time you open your mouth, you're going to be labeled a racist? You're not going to get anything done.
nope. And you can't be honest about things. And
No.
if you can't be honest about problems, how can you solve those problems? If you can't be honest about, okay, yeah, there is a problem with, you know, like I think it was you that read a statistic a while back to me that about murder statistics from 2019, and there were I think black people have commit violent crimes in I think it was 6 times more than 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 other races. And what bothers me is like, does that mean black people are bad? Well, of course
No.
not. Of
It
course
means
not.
that small percentage of blacks is
Yep. And what and what is going on that they resort to crime? What
That's what we need to get to.
right,
What is the issue? Why is this happening? But if we're not going to discuss the statistic,
right.
how are you ever going to get to the root of the problems?
If we're not going to be honest about the actual numbers,
Yeah,
if we're not going to be honest about the problem, there's absolutely no way we're going to find a solution to that problem.
no, no.
And I think that is what the
And I personally feel that everybody's racist in the way that the word is being used now. The
yep,
way I feel like everybody, blacks are racist, whites are racist, Asians are racist. Everybody's racist the way they're using the term.
yep,
So be real with me.
yep,
Be real with me. Okay, everybody is racist.
yep.
I don't buy this bullshit. Oh, I don't have a racist bone in my body. Wake up.
Or or the whole narrative of
Because to
I
me,
don't see color.
racism is, yeah, race. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
How can you not see in color? That's like saying you don't see a difference between men and women. Well, you do.
yep, yep,
And if you're going to say there isn't any difference, what planet are you on?
right.
Are you living on the same planet as I
Yeah,
am?
you're right. Yep,
Uh, I mean, no, don't feed me that. That's a lot of bullshit. When I say I'm not racist, I mean I have never felt that one race is inherently superior to the other. We were all made by God.
right.
I
Yep,
believe in God,
yep,
and I believe that's where we all come from, that same source, and we all have that divine energy within us, all of us.
yep,
But don't
yep,
sit and tell me that you don't see any difference.
yep. Or
Well,
the tribalism doesn't exist. Like you can't tell me that tribalism doesn't exist. Of
of
course it
course it
does.
exists.
And I mean, it's like again, some of these friends of mine from which I love from the
Mhm.
Northeast, they're it's like there's not a racist bone, or we don't have or whatever, or I'm that kind of racist stuff really bothers me. I remember one of my friends saying, I'm very much against racist stuff, and I'm really kind of an activist on that kind of stuff, and it really bothers me. And it's like, please don't. You're. I see pictures of events that you're at, and there's like
Mhm.
100 people or 50 people or whatever, and there's no black person, or there's one black person, or there's,
Mhm.
it's like, does that mean you're racist? Of course, of course not, man. Of course not. But by the definition that's being spread out there, by being foisted
Mhm.
upon us, yes, you are racist, according to
That's
that
right.
definition. But are you an actual racist? No. Like, first of all, the area of the country that you live in is majority white. So
Mhm.
there's going to be mostly white people probably at that event. Plus, on top of that, you are white. So you're a lot of times your family and your friends are going to be white because you're
Mhm.
white. And it's like like for myself, I'm I chat all the time with friends and stuff, especially on social media and whatnot. And it's like black, white, it doesn't matter. Like I have friends of mine that I grew up with and go back and forth with, and I have fond memories of childhood. Like this one friend I've been talking to a lot lately, or sending things back and forth on Facebook. He's a black guy, and
Mhm.
we grew up in the same neighborhood. We grew up, and he's a great freaking guy. I mean, I love the guy to death. He's somebody who I knew, you know, 30 plus 35 years ago, whatever. It's like I've known the guy forever. But it's like and we played ball together, and
Hmm.
we went to each other's houses. And if I got cut up, his mom put a band-aid on my knee, or whatever. It's like people don't understand, like, that it's not about that, like, that level of being honest, and that level of looking at race, like, is like, at that point, like, that is where racism isn't,
Hmm.
like, in that
You,
place.
you know, I had a cousin, and I was very close to his mother, my aunt, in Louisiana. And he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a true racist. And he was one person that I really knew was really racist. My aunt wasn't, and my other cousins weren't, but he was. And I'll
Right.
never forget, we were at the breakfast bar in my aunt's house one Sunday morning, and he called himself really religious. He had become this some kind of Protestant. I forget what it was, and he asked me if I wanted to go to heaven, and I just simply asked him, "Are you going to be there?" And he said, "Yes." I said, "Well, I'm going to
I'll
pass on
pass.
that."
Yeah.
And even his mother died laughing.
Yep.
But
Yep. Yep.
no, I
I
don't want to.
mean,
No, that wouldn't be heaven. Being around with someone like that.
see, I think people also from other areas of the country have got to understand what true racism
Yes,
is.
yeah, he
Because
was a
true
card carrying
racism,
KKK member.
yes, true racism is different than prejudice, or having certain prejudiced views of things. Like, true racism is, I
Scary.
mean, it's scary. It's
It is
quiet.
scary.
It's silent. It's not something
Yes.
that you speak about openly in public. It's true racism is scary, scary, quiet behavior.
None of us, none of his own family felt comfortable around him.
Right. Yep.
He's a nutcase.
Yep.
Just a plain nut.
Yep. Yep.
That's dangerous. People like that.
Yep. Yeah. True racism is like, I remember I worked at a hotel. I worked at a few hotels years ago when I was younger, and one hotel I worked at about 25 years ago, more than that. Um, I worked in the maintenance department,
Hmm.
and for a very short time, and then I went to another hotel because of this person. But my boss, my direct supervisor, he was part of the KKK, and
Hmm.
he was I don't know their levels or whatever, but he was friends with the Grand Dragon, with the Grand Wizard, or
Hmm.
whatever bullshit they whatever label they put on it. But he was talking to me about things, and he was telling me about some of his views, and that level of racism, which I don't think people understand. Again, true racism,
Hmm.
like, but that his level was racist. It was
Hmm.
very, it was that, blank, blank, blank. I saw him, that some guy walking out of his car, getting out of the car, and there was a white woman in the passenger seat, and blah blah blah, and he ought to be killed, and what, in the level of anger that
Hmm.
came from this man,
Hmm.
because of what, because there was a white woman in the car,
Hmm.
I mean, just, you felt it. I mean, it was like, this guy could, this guy, I feel this guy could, he could kill that person because of the anger, the
Hmm.
level of anger. That is like racist. It's not like,
I
you know what I'm talking